People of the verse, hello and welcome to the channel. It's the Eradicator, and in today's video we are going to talk about the question that Chris Robert is going to answer. Should be very soon, probably within the 24 hours, simply because he did say in the past that the question with the highest number of upvotes that adheres to the rules, I'll answer to the best of my ability this weekend. And if you look at the Ask the Devs forum category, it definitely does look like Chris Roberts' post was unpinned, meaning that he's probably answering right now. And so before we get the answer, just in the meantime, while we are waiting, because it's probably going to take some time, obviously Chris Robert is a perfectionist. He likes to answer to the best of his abilities, obviously, and of course if he answers the question on the forums with the same quality and details that he did answer the previous question on the forums last week, I think that it was, then it's probably going to take quite some time. So here we go, guys. The first question that comes here is a question from Rain Walker with 1,200 upvotes, which definitely is a lot. And this is a question that's very important in my opinion. This is a question about the dynamic economy. How is the dynamic economy shaking up? And I like one of the top answers to that is from DG's like, yes, this, right? To that, Rainwalker is also adding, is server meshing an essential requirement before Quantas shows up? For those of you who don't know what Quantas is this kind of system that was shown last year during SeasonCon, where Tony Zurvek was showing how NPCs react to dynamic events that do happen randomly around the verse, either generated by players or by NPCs themselves. Something that we desperately need in the servers right now, because of course we don't have any NPCs. Well, we do have some NPCs, but they're all pretty much scripted when it comes to their actions. It's always the same. You either have a random police patrol that just spawns and wants to scan your cargo, or you would have a random attack between, let's say, an Avenger and Cutlass Black, and you would just see them and choose to either interfere or not, or maybe some random pirate patrols intercepts you while you're in quantum travel, although this has not happened to me for a very long time. And that's basically it. But when we finally have Quanta, this is really when the living, breathing universe is going to finally come alive, when we'll finally have a dynamic economy when it comes to resources actually being mined by NPCs at outposts, and when other factories, let's say maybe Lorville for example, is actually going to need specific amount of materials to produce whatever goods they have, and those goods then will have to be shipped, let's say for example to ArcCorp, where they would eventually be sold, and eventually they might be sold to Marcotech, where they will have maybe higher tier product with more added value. So that's kind of like how the dynamic economy is, at least I see the way I see it, is going to shape up. But for that, it's going to take a while. So it's interesting that we have this question, because at the same time we can try to answer the question ourselves. See what I mean? That's why I'm making this video, is just to see how our own view of the game is compared to how it actually really is inside the mind of Chris Roberts. And that's going to be a really interesting way to see how well we understand the game and how completely off the mark we can be sometimes, right? And I think that that's going to be an interesting test, at least for me. That's why I'm making this video. I also want to see how off the mark I am. So that's why I'm going to answer the video myself, and then when we'll finally have the answer from Chris Roberts, obviously I'm going to make another video and we'll see how wrong I was, or maybe, who knows, maybe I was right? So here we go. So first, I think that we have to remember ourselves what server meshing is, and I think that thanks to Chad McKinney's explanation a couple of days ago, we have a better understanding here of what that technology can be. Server meshing is basically the servers being divided into several parts, which is called shards, and each of those parts of servers represents certain areas. So you would have maybe, for example, just an example, one shard where you would have planet ArcCorp, and one shard where you would have some its own moons, and then you would have some shards where you have some space in between, which are probably would be a little bit larger. Each of the Lagrange points would be its own shard, for example, and and you would have maybe several of those shards all together. For example, maybe there can be 50 or 100 shards representing the same place at the same time. Maybe you would have 100 shards with ArcCorp and 100 shards with Hearthstone at the same time. Putting them together is server meshing. So let's say you have this shard with 50 players, that shard with 50, let's say 10 shards with 50 people together, put them together, boom, you have an instance with 500 people. That is server meshing. The same could go with NPCs, because those NPCs are definitely going to take some server load too. So this is why, in my opinion, I do believe that server meshing is indeed required for the dynamic economy to be there, simply because those NPCs are going to bring extra load to the servers, and without server meshing it's already impossible. We did see, for those of you who remember Star Citizen Alpha 3.5, where we actually did have random NPCs landing at landing zones. Well, there were only two, right? There was ArcCorp and there was also Lorville at the same time. When CIG was trying to make those NPCs landing at those landing zones, the frames were very, very, very bad, and this had a heavy impact on the servers. In fact, it was so bad that CIG quickly disabled that feature. So that's why I also do believe that, yes, I agree that we definitely need to have server meshing for that, for Quantas to eventually show up. Now, eventually, how is the dynamic economy shaking up itself? I think that probably the cargo decks are also going to be one of the keys. We'll definitely need to have as well the refinery systems, because NPCs are also going to mine. We are going to need those refineries to have those raw materials into actual refined goods that then will be able to be sold at some of the factories and other elements of the economy that we will have in Star Citizen. So I think that when we will have those places functioning, the cargo decks and especially the refineries, I do believe that the refineries are key for that. Then we'll eventually be one step closer to the dynamic economy. Now, of course, we are going to need to have more things working. For example, let's talk about the outposts. When you look at the outposts, they're pretty empty, right? And none of the elements that you see at the outposts, apart from the trading consoles and the drop boxes, are functional. We need to have the machines at the outposts fully working so that NPCs, and I also believe that players as well, should be able to work at those outposts. I think that that's also going to be very important, and it is also going to add some extra immersions. I don't think that it is normal that those outposts are empty, right? So this is something that I think we should also expect to see in the future. I think that NPCs are also going to have to leave somewhere, so we're probably going to need also working hubs with persistence. I think that server meshing is not just going to be the key for the dynamic economy. We'll also need to have persistence, not just persistence from our actions, but also persistence from actions of NPCs, because those NPCs should, in theory, be the same as players with their own lives, their own possessions. They're going to buy and sell things too, and that is also something that we need for the dynamic economy. So if I were Chris Roberts, that's what I would say. But again, of course, guys, I am not Chris Roberts. I am just a mere eradicator here in the verse. So it will be interesting to see what he will say. And I would like also to know what you guys will say in the comments down below. What is your understanding of the dynamic economy? And what do you think the essential requirements are for Quantas to show up? Please tell me in the comments down here. And yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun when Chris Roberts' answer will be here. here, that's all for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget that this month I've got a giveaway. I'm giving away, thanks to Buzz69, a Talent Shrike with lifetime insurance, and on top of that, I am adding a Cutlass Black with a rock, all of that with lifetime insurance too. All you have to do to catch of winning is to be a subscriber to the channel and comment to any videos related to Star Citizen posted this month. The winner will be announced early October. Good luck to everyone. That's all for this video. This is the Eradicator, and I'll see you guys later.
Shit! They're right here.